Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Student Forum. Let's start off today's Student Forum with our land acknowledgement. Long Beach City College acknowledges our presence on the traditional ancestral land of the San Gabriel Tonga peoples. This land remains unseized territory. We acknowledge the painful history of genocide and forced removal from this territory. Long Beach City College honors and respects the San Gabriel Tonga ancestry, their connection to this land. Hello, everyone. My name is Alana Jolivet, and I am the ASB president of Long Beach City College. I'm a military veteran, mother, and Long Beach native. I am a student here at LBCC for a year as I continue my pursuit of my communications degree.
Hello, my name is Alex Hernandez, and I am ASB student trustee for 2022-2023. I have been a student at Long Beach City College for 2 years. I am currently majoring in engineering and planning to transfer for a 4-year university for chemical engineering course. We would love to encourage our fellow peers and audience to provide any questions that would like to be answered in our Q&A box. And a friendly reminder that this event is being recorded and will be available to view on our LBCC YouTube channel. We would like to begin by introducing our Superintendent President, Dr. Mike Munoz.
Thank you, Alex and Alana. Good afternoon. My name is Dr. Mike Munoz, and I am proud to serve as your Superintendent President. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy day to attend this virtual town hall meeting. Not only will we be sharing new information that is vital for all of us, this is your opportunity to ask those questions you've been saving up. I want to thank the Associate Student Body President, Alana Jolivet, and Student Trustee Alex Hernandez for moderating today's town hall. Let's give them a virtual round of applause. These two students are the voices for more than 34,000 LBCC students. I've had the pleasure of working with both of them, and I can assure you that they're doing an incredible job. And as we begin this interactive session, I want you to know that here at Long Beach City College, it's all about you, our students, and each and every one of you achieving your academic goals. My office, our faculty, staff, and your student leaders are here to help you and support you. So after this town hall, we want you to know we're always here to help, so don't hesitate to reach out for support. We have been dealing with the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic for more than 2 years now. We're finally returning to normal at LBCC and in our lives, or should I say the new normal. That being said, remember that COVID hasn't gone away, so please continue to be safe. LBCC continues to work closely with the City of Long Beach Health Department. If there are any changes, we will let you know as soon as possible. In the meantime, all of the most up-to-date information is on our Return to Campus website. I would like to also take a moment and tell you how proud we are of you, our students. These past few years have not been easy for anyone, and yet you're still here to accomplish your academic goals of transferring or receiving your degree or certificate. But you're not alone in this pursuit. Our employees are constantly looking for ways to help break down the barriers you might be dealing with on a daily basis. Our Basic Needs Office is ready to assist you with your challenges with transportation, housing, and food. We have our Success Centers ready with student tutors to help you academically, and our Student Health Services can help you with mental health. And I'm so excited to announce that we recently launched our after-school care service for student parents with the Boys and Girls Club. As someone who personally struggled with reliable and safe childcare for my daughter while I was attending community college, I know that this will be a vital service for many of our students and helping them reach their educational goals. I'm really looking forward to seeing more of you back on our beautiful campuses. For some students, it might be the first time you've set foot on our campus. Dr. Correll, Dr. Douglas, and Dr. West, I look forward to this opportunity to speak directly to you and your questions about fall 2022 semester and any issues you wish to discuss. I'm excited about this academic year, and I hope to see you in person when I'm out walking around our beautiful campuses. Don't hesitate to stop and talk to me about your challenges and your successes, or just say hello. I'm here for you. And with that, I would like to turn it back to Alex and Alana.
Thank you, Dr. Munoz. As we continue our town hall meeting event, we would love to introduce our vice presidents. After introducing every single vice president, can we ask them to give a small introduction about themselves? We'll start off with Dr. Lee Douglas, Vice President of Academic Affairs.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Alex. And good afternoon, Viking family. It's so good to be here with you today. And welcome to our new students, and welcome back to those of you that are returning to Long Beach City College. I'd like to start off my update by simply saying All students are welcome at Long Beach City College. Our goal is to provide a safe, comfortable learning environment in which all of our students can thrive. And with that, I have a couple of updates for you. First, enrollment. I am happy to report that we're slightly up compared to the same time last year. That means that the Vikings are here. Our new and returning students, we're so happy to have you all. Our credit enrollment is up about 5%, and our full-time equivalent students is up about 4.8%, which is fantastic. I'm also happy to report that our non-credit enrollment is up significantly. And in fact, it's exceeded our pre-COVID enrollment numbers from 2019, which is incredible. You'd be interested to know that our biggest increase has been in our new student population. Our enrollment of continuing students has continued to decline, which is concerning. And we're exploring ways to improve our term-to-term persistence. In other words, we want you to succeed at Long Beach City College and accomplish your goals. I've received several questions related to scheduling and the types of classes that we're offering at Long Beach City College. Our faculty, department heads, and deans have worked extremely hard to put together a student-centered schedule that offers students a variety of learning options. The schedule this semester seems to have a really good mix of online, hybrid, and face-to-face options. And of course, we know that there are many factors that could influence the ultimate balance of our offerings, such as future variants, health orders, etc. But as always, student demand is going to be the major driver of our course offerings. We want to offer classes that meet your needs. And with this new normal, as Dr. Munoz mentioned, it is safe to say that we likely won't ever see the 80% on-site to 20% online offerings that we had just 2 short years ago. Moving forward, we're going to continue to gauge how best to meet our student needs as it relates to schedule. Thank you, and go Vikings.
Thank you, sir. Next, we'll have Dr. Corral, Executive Vice President of Student Services.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining this student town hall. I would first like to also acknowledge our student trustee, Alex Hernandez, and our ASB president, Alana Jolabet, for your leadership. We continue to work very closely with our ASB president and leadership, as well as our student trustee, to ensure that the student's voice is at the forefront of all of the decisions that we're making as we return to campus, as we open up operations, continue to support students both online and in person. We have seen a number of students in person, which has been fantastic, as you heard from both Dr. Munoz and Dr. Douglas. And to illustrate, we had more than 400 of you attend this past Saturday's homecoming event, where our student affairs, our instructional partners, athletics, were able to celebrate, in addition to our football game, some time together as we support students in this return back to more of a in-person environment. During this pandemic, we've been able to support students in a variety of ways, and I'd like to share with you a couple of those. One of them is debt forgiveness. We've been able to support students with outstanding student enrollment debts from fall 21, winter 22, spring 22, so this past academic year, where those debts were forgiven to remove barriers to students enrolling into classes. That resulted in supporting more than 9,100 students, and that also accounted for $2,342,000 in debt that were forgiven. So that's a significant amount that was invested in our students, in all of you, to remove those barriers for you to continue your education. We were able to use our higher education relief fund dollars to support that as a one-time expense. In addition to that, We were also able to remove drop for non-payment for students this fall 2022 as well. Again, in thinking about removing barriers for students to register for classes, there were a number of barriers that we identified that we wanted to remove. This specific barrier impacted 2,500 students that were not dropped from their classes by canceling the drop for non-payment in support of student success. Again, we're trying to look at our systems and find ways to remove those barriers for you to have access to your classes and be more intentional with enrolling in classes and staying in classes. In terms of CDC, Long Beach Health, and LA County Health Departments, we continue to be in alignment with all health orders. And in recent time, there has been a leniency as a result of Long Beach being a low transmission site. So you've seen some changes as it results to health orders. For example, we are no longer requiring weekly testing for asymptomatic exempt students and employees, and that's in alignment with CDC health orders. As we continue to get updates from our local, regional, and the Center for Disease Control, we'll continue to make updates as needed. Should we see an uptick in transmission and positivity rates, then we would respond according to those health orders and the guidance from the health departments. So with that, I'll turn it back over to our student leaders and pass on the mic.
Thank you, Dr. Corral. I would like to introduce our next Vice President, Dr. Chip West, Vice President of Business Services.
Hi, everyone. I'm excited to be here today. I'm the newest on the team here at LBCC, only have been here for about 3 months now, so I'm getting to know the campus and the students and love being here at the start of the fall semester. I oversee administrative and business services at the college, and probably the #1 question that I'm getting more than anything else is about food services and our challenges with food services at the start of the fall semester. As you know, we had a number of challenges that really significantly impacted our operations for both food services and our bookstore at the beginning of this year. S&B Foods, a longtime vendor here, unexpectedly decided not to continue their contract with us approximately 2 weeks prior to the start of the fall semester. Our team quickly scrambled to try and put together a Band-Aid approach to food service operations in a quick amount of time. And some of those things that we've accomplished to date is that we've added additional food operations within both Viking Express locations, both at PCC and at LAC campuses. Tried to offer an expanded menu of grab-and-go food items for students. I will note here that we've struggled a bit with our PCC Viking Express sales. They haven't gone as well as we had hoped, but we're really trying to improve promotions there and try and drive more business and let students know that they have an affordable option for some grab-and-go options there. Both bookstores also at PCC and LACC have added coolers, grab-and-go items, giving the students the ability to purchase sandwiches and salads and burritos and other things. We've added microwaves to areas so that people can bring their own food or to utilize those services. On September 6th, we brought food trucks to campus. At LAC, there's some challenges with the food trucks. It's a vendor that we're working with to try and bring a variety of foods throughout the day. But we've heard the challenges associated with it, and we're working hard to try and find the right price point, the right offerings, the right resources to students, and we're trying to dial in that and do better as we go forward. And then one of the new items that we're going to be adding over the next week or two, it's a little delayed in getting here, is we're going to be adding some new vending machines, both at PCC and LAC, offering healthy meals in recyclable jar containers. They're really cool at a great price point. The machines are operated by a company called Farmer's Fridge, which you can look up. And they are machines that will be located in Building GG at our PCC campus and at Building E at the LAC campus. And we're hoping, as I said, for delivery within the next week or two for those machines. As we continue to move forward, again, as we talk about food, one of the challenges we have is, building E and how we're going to move forward permanently with food. We have a food services consultant that's working with us to try and give us some options as we go forward. And we're really exploring taking all feedback and really listening. We put out some surveys recently to really get information to dial in to do a better job of providing good food services and options for our students. So that's, I think, the gist. Those are the most of the questions that I get, but happy to take any more as we go forward. Thank you both. Thanks, Alex and Alana.
Thank you, Dr. West. With the help of my co-host, ASB President Alana, we will be asking Vice President questions that were submitted by students. Before we do that,
We would like to introduce the deans and directors that are also attending our town hall meeting and will be assisting with the Q&As. The interim director of student equity, Dr. Eric Bacara.
Greetings, everybody on the interwebs. My name is Eric Becerra. I serve as the interim director of student equity here at Long Beach City College, overseeing the Male Success Initiative, the Social Justice Intercultural Center, Cultural Heritage Celebrations, and the Emergency Aid application.
I would like to introduce our second dean, the interim associate dean of Student Support Services, Dr. Elaine Freeman.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dr. Urania Freeman. I'm the Interim Associate Dean of Student Support Services and currently working with Reengagement. Welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Freeman. Finally, we're going to move on to the Dean of Enrollment of Services, Yvonne Gutierrez.
Hello, good afternoon. Yvonne Gutierrez Sandoval, Dean of Enrollment Services. I oversee financial aid, admissions and records, international students, and veteran student services. Welcome. Glad you can be here with us this afternoon.
We will proceed with our student activities advisor, Kim Hammond.
Hi, y'all. My name is Kim. My pronouns are they, them. I'm a student activities advisor, so I advise ASB, so Alex and Alana, as well as our clubs and orgs.
And then the Office of Basic Needs Manager, Justin Mendez.
Hello and good afternoon, everybody. My name is Justin Mendez. I'm the manager of our Basic Needs program that oversees food, housing, transportation services, and the Viking Closet for your free clothes services.
Let's also welcome the Dean of Student Affairs, Deborah Miller-Calvert.
Good afternoon, everyone. So happy to see you here. Thank you, Alex. My name is Deborah Miller-Calvert. I'm the interim dean for student affairs. The areas that I oversee are student activities, student conduct, basic needs, and student health services. And I do want to make sure that you all know that you're invited to Wellness Fest tomorrow, October 5th at our Pacific Coast campus, and then the following week at our LAC campus. We want you to enjoy a day of wellness with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Deborah. Let's give a warm welcome to Director of Athletics, Cal Stewart. It seems that Director Cal Stewart is not in our meeting today. So finally, we're gonna introduce Dean of Counseling and Student Support Services, Javier Villaseñor.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Javier Villaseñor, Interim Dean of Counseling and Student Support Services, and we are here to help you all.
Thank you for that. So now we're gonna jump into a few questions that were submitted to us previously before this meeting. So Alana, take it away.
I'll start with a question that we got through the Q&A, and this will be for Dr. Munoz. Will there be a winter and spring deadline dates for religious exemptions?
Good question. So I'm actually going to defer that to Dr. Corral to talk a little bit about our registration deadlines, and I'll have Dr. Corral take that question.
Sure. Thank you, Dr. Munoz. Great question. We will continue to accept the exemption forms throughout continuously. So we haven't yet identified any deadlines, but if that is something that applies to you in your unique situation, then I encourage you to complete the exemption form and submit that through our normal process online. We can share the URL. I'll ask our interim dean of student affairs to attach the URL of where to get the form and also submit the form. But I encourage you to, as you're thinking about winter, as you think about spring enrollments, to do that now or continuously if you know you're going to be registering for classes, as winter and spring registration will be taking place later this month. So the sooner you do it, the better it is for us to review, respond, and you know what the standing is.
Thank you, Dr. Corral. Oh.
Go ahead.
Similar question, given the recent changes to CDC guidelines, why are unvaccinated students still required to submit their weekly COVID testing when they are asymptomatic? Now, one of the marks that we're giving was that this policy no longer seems to follow the science. Furthermore, I feel I am being discriminated against a student for both my religious belief and my medical decision. Can you elaborate more on this, Dr. Corral?
Yes, thank you for that question. And, at the beginning, when the CDC came out with their updated guidelines last month, or actually late August, there was a discrepancy, right? We were still requiring at that time weekly testing and had not yet adapted our processes to be in alignment with CDC. However, once we learned of the update from the CDC, we did go through our reopening task force steering committee. We shared the updates with that committee that is composed of students, leadership from constituent groups around campus. That includes our unions, that includes our instructional leaders, our deans, vice presidents, human resources, and our student leaders as well. And after conversation there, we knew we needed to be in alignment, which we then made that recommendation and followed suit promptly after. So to answer the question specifically, we no longer require weekly testing for asymptomatic students that are approved with an exemption.
Another question is for the panel. If you have classes online in the first semester, but decide to take on campus classes during the second semester, is that possible?
I'll jump in there on that one. I would say absolutely. Students are not limited to the modality in which they can take classes. The only caveat would be if they're taking a class face-to-face, they would have to be vaccinated or get vaccinated. So, but being able to take classes online and face-to-face is absolutely doable, and we encourage it to experience the various modalities of learning. So yes, that is possible.
Thank you, Dr. Douglas. Now, another student asked, I need a lot of help in classes. What are some services that we can offer on campus that can help our fellow peers succeed in their classes? I'll refer this to Dr. Douglas.
Yes, and this won't be an all-inclusive list, but I can tell you that there are many supports available to our students, including through our success centers, our 4 success centers where students can get tutoring. And let me emphasize, free tutoring is available. We've got embedded tutoring available for students. We've got our open access computer labs, So the services are available and we really want students to take advantage of them. If you go to our main LBCC website, it has a list of resources and academic resources that are available. So you can see the whole list that we offer. But absolutely, I would tell students in a heartbeat, take advantage of the many resources that are available to you here. And again, all of them are free of charge. And we offer them both face-to-face and online, including the tutoring that we have available is available in both modalities. So for sure, the support is here, and we really want students to take advantage of the support that we have.
Dr. Douglas, can I ask a follow-up question there?
You certainly can.
So we have many students that are needing to take math, for instance. And math is a subject area that many students have a challenge with, right? And at times they'll put it off at the end, which isn't recommended. We recommend that you take math early so that you can get the assistance that you need early, so you stay on track to graduate. Now, if I'm a student that has that challenge with math, what are some ways that I can have some additional support to be successful in math classes?
I'm going to start with your instructor. The best source of information and the best resource is your faculty. Take advantage of them, going to their office hours, again, either face-to-face or online. They're here to help. They're here to serve. And we got a wonderful faculty that are just waiting for students to come and ask questions. So that would be what I would recommend as the first source of information. We also have our Math Success Center that I mentioned a bit earlier, where students can get free tutoring. You got access to calculators, group study sessions. I mean, there's so many opportunities available for students because we do realize that math can be a challenge for many. And so that's why we've hired very trained, well-qualified folks in those centers, in those areas to provide the level of support that our students will need from all levels of math. So no matter where you are in your math sequence, there is support available to you. So outstanding question, Dr. Corral. I would say definitely start with your faculty member because they are here to help, they're here to serve.
Thank you so much, Dr. Douglas and Dr. Corral, for that amazing question. Now, we are, as many of all of y'all are aware, that we no longer have the SMB food contract, and the cafeteria is currently closed at the moment. When will we get a cafeteria open on both campuses, or at least some food trucks that are reasonable over at both campuses? And I'll refer this for Dr. West.
Sorry, my computer went down. All of a sudden, I was struggling to find the button. I was like, this is not good. Yes, so the food trucks has been a Band-Aid fix for us right now. We have a number of vendors that are trying to come in, and we're trying to right size both the type of food, the price point of food, the variety of food for students, and trying to right size that for the community. We haven't gotten there yet, admittedly, but we're getting there. We're committed to getting there. Longer term, we're looking at Building E is going to be going under a renovation, new construction, which is very exciting for us as a community. And so that construction will begin really at the end of this coming year. So that also hampers us a little bit because we can't bring in a brand new food service venue into the former space where S&B was, and at the same time then take that venue down 3-4 months later. So we're a little bit struggling to try and zero in on what are our options. So what things we are doing is, as I explained before, we're expanding vending options, and not just your typical kind of chips vending, but really a higher end vending at a good price point for students. I think people will really be excited about what we're able to offer. And what's great about vending services is then there's no time element. You don't have to wait for someone to serve it to you. There's not a limitation on time. As long as the space is open and the food is available, you can get it on your own. And so we think that's going to be a good option. We're going to continue to zero in on expanding operations within the bookstore and in the Viking Express. And, Dr. Douglas, I don't know if you want to talk about some of the things that our that our faculty are doing within our culinary program and the types of programs that they're going to offer. That too is another option for us as we go forward.
Yes, to that point, excellent point. Our wonderful culinary faculty and area has really stepped up to try to fill the void. We're entertaining, several options from them in terms of moving forward, how we might best serve our students. But just know that the bistro is here to serve you. They've got wonderful options available there. The bistro as well as the bakery. So there is stuff available. There is food available, and more to come on that in terms of possibilities of our culinary program taking us on in a long-term vision. So more to come for sure.
And if I can just add, Dr. West mentioned this. However, our bookstores at each campus. So if you go into the Barnes & Noble bookstore located at our Pacific Coast campus or Liberal Arts campus, you'll find some additional food options there as well, such as sandwiches or microwavable foods. And if you're experiencing food insecurities, I recommend you also visit our Office of Basic Needs. We also have some stocked food for you if you're experiencing hard times and food insecurities, that we can support you at both our LAC campus and our PCC campus as well.
Okay, next question will be, can't we have good internet connection at the school considering we are in Zoom classes for most of the day? I have to use the school internet for it because I have a class afterward. Dr. West.
We're continuing to explore and enhance our Wi-Fi signals throughout the campus. We've done a number of studies to try and look at spaces that are vacant. In fact, I'll tell you, in my own office here, when I've tried to use my phone at times, I can't get a good signal as I'm in my own office. So it is something that we're looking at. Some of the initiatives that we're working on right now, specifically for both PCC, building GG, building AA over there, is really enhancing put a tower up on top of the building that will boost signal inside those buildings. We know that there's some dead spots in there. We're also looking at the same kind of boosted signal spaces here in building T and in a number of other buildings on campus in A and B and C. If you have issues for that or specific areas that are not doing well, building M, for example, that just opened, a lot of new construction, sometimes cell phone signal because of the building materials, it doesn't go through. So we're looking at boosting on M. If there's issues like that, please let your dean, please let us know, let your dean know, let your faculty member know so that they can forward those areas to us so that we can address them. Because we want everyone to have a very clear signal, especially as we're asking students to use their phones and their tablets and their computers for not only classes, but for homework and research and studying and all the things that you're doing to try and support your persistence here at the college. So if there's areas where you see perpetually, I just can't get a signal, please let us know that. You can absolutely reach out to your faculty member or even here to us in Building T, and we absolutely will continue to look at it. But I'm hoping that you'll see some improvement over the coming weeks.
And if I can actually add on to the technology piece, just to share some more information about what is available for students as it relates to internet connectivity or even laptops or computer use. We do have our emergency aid application that is still available. Through the emergency aid application, we're able to provide students experiencing hardships with hotspots, with technology loans such as laptops or Chromebooks, emergency aid. So if there's a situation and you submit the application, we can consider that for direct aid up to $300 through state funding for qualifying students. So in terms of hotspots, we are working to attain more hotspots. We're working on trying to solicit a vendor that'll work with us in that. But the emergency aid application is the way to go ahead and put in a request for that. And the hotspots will help assist for Wi-Fi access off campus if you are struggling to find Wi-Fi support. In terms of laptops, we are currently through the emergency aid are at capacity in terms of laptop lending. However, there are other areas that we can then connect you to that do offer Chromebooks and have availability. Some of those include academic programs such as the Computer and Office Studies, as well as the library and a few others that have Chromebooks to be lent out. So if you fill out the application, we can certainly connect you with the appropriate resource for you.
And if I can also add that I really encourage students to utilize the computer labs at both campuses. So in addition to the laptops that you can check out, if you are here on campus and you need to access technology at the Pacific Coast campus as well as the liberal arts campus, we do have the open access computer labs for your use. So take advantage of those as well.
Thank y'all so much for that. Now, why can't the library building be open at 7:30? One of the students asked, due to what that we need to use for Zoom classes. And I noticed that some people have classes here at 8 o'clock in the morning. And so that we're not so late at classes. I want to refer this to Dr. West or Dr. Munoz. Let's hear from him.
Thank you, Alex. So I want to respect the library falls under Dr. Douglas's portfolio. So I don't want to, jump any thunder, but I would probably need to do some additional research of what it would look like to consider extended hours. And I think, to Dr. Douglas's point earlier, right? Like the new normal is probably not going to be going back to 80% face-to-face, 20% online. We've seen an expanded need in expanded demand for online sections. So we might need to, with that, explore and look at if we need expanded hours in locations where students can have access to the technology that they need. So I think Dr. Douglas, I'd rather have him respond because like I said, it's a library falls under his portfolio. But I think my takeaway from the question is we need to do some research and we need to kind of investigate what it would look like if, we would offer some extended hours, but I'll turn it over to Dr. Douglas.
Yeah, I'd like to echo Dr. Munoz's statement. I did receive that question this morning. I immediately posed it to the area. So it is under exploration at this very moment, what it would really look like, understanding the student needs, many students have classes that start at 8 o'clock, and perhaps they need to have a place where they could go prior to that time to do some studying or some research. So it is under investigation, even at this very moment. So the question's been posed to the dean of the area, who will work with the faculty and staff in the area to determine how best to meet the needs of students and altering the hours and the impact that it would have on staffing, et cetera. So we're certainly considering that for sure, because we definitely want to meet the student need.
And the next question for the panel is, a lot of classes have been offered online. Does this include honors classes?
I think I'm up again. The short answer is absolutely yes. I have regular meetings with the honors coordinator. As a matter of fact, we just met yesterday, and we do offer face-to-face as well as online honors courses. So again, we're looking at the modalities that work for our students, and what our student demand indicates is what we're attempting to do. So yes, students can take honors classes face-to-face as well as online. It doesn't mean that every honors course, let me be really clear, is necessarily offered in both modalities, but we do offer both overall.
Next question. A lot of students are on campus this semester for the first time since pandemic. What advice would you give them to get to know the campus and services at LBCC offers, Dr. Munoz?
Sure. Thank you, Alex. Great questions. I would say the first thing that comes to mind is for the student is to seek out supportive programs and relationships. You know, when you talk to a lot of students who find success at LBCC and you ask them, you know, what do you attribute your success to? They often talk about people. They built relationships with faculty, with counselors, with advisors, they're, you know, with student services staff. And so I think it's really important for students who are, you know, maybe just starting to experience the in-person campus experience to really be okay with putting themselves out there. If there's an area of interest that they want to explore, join a club, get involved in an activity. You know, we do a great job of promoting different cultural heritage events as well as different programming. I know, like, there's going to be a production of De Donde that's going to be coming up that the theater arts program is doing. So, you know, attend a sporting event, attend a, you know, theater performance, you know, take full advantage of the college experience. And then, like I said, also seek out those supportive relationships, because I think it makes a key difference when you feel like you're connected with someone that can help guide you, especially if you hit a roadblock. You know, many of us, we experience challenges while we're going through our educational journey. And sometimes it feels like it's easier to fall back than press forward. And so if you have those relationships, I really strongly believe it helps you persevere during those more challenging and difficult times. And then lastly, I always talk about use your faculty office hours. I remember I was so intimidated when I was a student to go to office hours. It just, even the word office hours, I like calling them student hours because it sounds intimidating. But go and sit down with a faculty member. They love it. And you'll be surprised how excited they are when you come to visit them during office hours. So take advantage of that resource, because it's a very important opportunity to not only, you know, have deeper conversations about what you're learning in the classroom, but again, to build that connection and relationship with your faculty members.
If I can add on as well, you know, there are a number of students that we've lost during the pandemic, right? Online wasn't a mode of learning that was beneficial for everyone. So we have been actively reaching out to students that we previously had and we've lost at some point. And Dr. Freeman, who you met earlier, has been doing a great job in working with counseling, working with student affairs, working with enrollment services, to ensure that we're able to support students that are being re-engaged and coming back to campus. So we've seen a number of students come back this semester that were previously gone throughout the majority of the pandemic. So for those students, I would recommend continuing to seek out support. And as Dr. Munoz mentioned, don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask for help, right? One of the best things that you can do is see a counselor. One of the best things to do is become active with one of the clubs, one of the student organizations, or even our programs like EOPS or CalWorks, CARE, or DSPS if you need some additional support in your classes. So don't be afraid to ask questions, and everyone is here to help you succeed and reach your educational and career goal, whether that be to earn a certificate, earn a degree, or transfer to a four-year university. We want to make sure that you're able to have the information, access the resources to help support you accomplish your goal. And I do see our Dean Gutierrez has come up for additional information as well.
Yes, and I just wanted to let students know, if you've applied for financial aid, there are federal work study funds available, which means you can work on campus. And it's a great way to really get engaged, meet administrators, meet other students, meet coworkers, especially if you might feel a little shy at first about just kind of throwing yourself out there and meeting with a faculty. This is a great way to get paid. It works around your class schedule, and you get to meet a lot of different administrators, and a lot of our work study students that work within enrollment services typically will ask us questions. Hey, I have a question. If I'm struggling with this, where can I find help? If I'm struggling with that. So just know that's an opportunity that's available. If you haven't applied for financial aid, it's not too late. More information is available on the financial aid website.
Thank you so much, Yvonne Gutierrez, Dr. Corral, and Dr. Munoz for that. So for our final and last question, touching base the emergency aid that Dr. Corral actually spoke about earlier, during the pandemic, there was emergency aid funds that were given out per semester. I know that this previous semester, we no longer are offering that services. I know that students have been depending on that emergency aid fund. Will we be bringing that back anytime soon, or what are our future plans for that?
Great question, Alex. So as you mentioned, and as I referred to earlier on, we no longer have access to the Higher Education Relief Fund, the HERF funding that helped us eliminate student debt, helped us provide direct aid to students in the same way that we can now, right? That it was a temporary support to address the COVID pandemic during that severe time. However, we do have still supports in emergency aid for students to help support them as emergencies and unexpected situations come up, right? So if it's housing related and you become backed up in rent or lose housing, we have some resources and supports through the Office of Basic Needs and Justin Mendez, who you saw earlier, to really help support and engage students experiencing those housing insecurities. For students also experiencing financial need, we do have opportunities through our financial aid office that for eligible students, we're able to provide some additional supports and funding as well. So there are still opportunities for emergency aid. They haven't ceased as a result of HERF funding stopping. However, we do have opportunities. And one last piece I would add, and then I know Dr. Munoz has an additional item, would be our foundation. We do have scholarships that we award upwards to $1 million a year. And many of those scholarships go to multiple, so to students receive multiple scholarships. So there's a need for more students to apply to our scholarships through the foundation because of how much funds they have and not many students applying for those funds. So I encourage all students to also apply for our Long Beach City College Foundation scholarships. Dr. Munoz?
Thank you, Corrales, Dr. Corrales. You did a great job of kind of summarizing some of those supports. You know, just a couple of things I wanted to expand on, because I think, Alex, that's a really great question. You know, we're also trying to be intentional about some of the systems we're building that address some of the longstanding core barriers that students face and removing them. So, for example, the partnership that we're emerging with the Boys and Girls Club by having on-site after-school care on campus for our students who have children, we know that that's a barrier for many students to be able to take classes after, you know, in the afternoon when their children are out of school. And so we're working on having that. And then we're also been working on, and we're currently preparing an application to apply for funding from the State Chancellor's Office to build affordable student housing. And if we are successful in receiving that grant, you know, we'll be building an affordable student housing complex on campus with 400 plus beds. And so we're really trying to think deeply about some of the long-term barriers, these systemic barriers for students, and building systems, because we know that we're not always going to have these federal dollars or these one-time HERF dollars to expend. And so we have to start to think a little bit more deeply about our systems and structures and how we can structurally remove many of those barriers that are, you know, impeding our students from reaching their goals.
And then I know everyone was told that that was the last question, but I have one last one. I have a question regarding honors classes. This semester, there were very few honors classes online. Will that end up changing at all?
I will certainly look into that. I don't know the numbers. I'll be very frank in terms of how many online offerings there were. It is really department driven. So the departments determine their sections, and faculty have, you know, the purview of that, but we'll certainly look into it to see the offers and try to maintain a balance in terms of the online versus face-to-face offerings. As I said, unfortunately, I don't have the exact numbers, but we'll certainly look into it to see if we can offer even more online opportunities.
Alrighty, well, we just want to thank everyone here for taking the time out of their day to be here today, and especially to the students that chimed in for these questions. We really appreciate the engagement, and I look forward to working with you guys throughout the rest of the year. Alex, go ahead.
Thank you so much, Alana. And it's been a pleasure and an honor to be here amongst these amazing directors and individual. This is why our school is amazing and great, right? So let's continue working together. And again, students speak out. This is our time to shine, and your voice is our power. Thank you so much for every single person here, and we're looking forward to working with y'all this next academic year.
And then Dr. Munoz, is there anything you'd like to say before we go?
Just want to extend my deep appreciation to Alex and Alana, to both of you for facilitating this important conversation. I hope folks felt that when they came back to campus this semester, it felt different. You felt the energy. You saw students walking around campus. It hasn't felt like the last couple fall semesters. You felt the energy, and I hope we can continue to build on that momentum and just always, the key message to our students is we're here for you. And if you need support, reach out, because there's a lot of caring Vikings here that want to support you on your journey. And I would probably just end with saying, go Vikings.